All aboard, it's episode 92 here on the Devil's Towers. Fixit 1969 game for Semitrans, Pack 64. That's why the lower res graphics. Sorry, gang. I prefer the Pack 64 game myself. I'm trying to learn the 128 and to learn to like it. I am also looking at other games. One thing I do not need to take in state, I do notice that the Fixit is not as popular, but it's on a timer. Remember that. Both it and Max Chaos current game, which is the Max Chaos DT game, will end once we hit 2025 in game. January 2025 is that end point where we determine winner chicken dinner or loser might as well be a boozer. So, I am also looking at some other things. I've been thinking about things for how to spice up the tutorial game, and we may just make the tutorial game the main 64 game after this. I will probably still play off on the side, and I'm willing to take any comments in the posts sections. Go ahead and leave me a post or answer any episode and let me know with a comment what you'd like to see me playing next. Just realize if it's something I don't have already and it costs money, that's down the road. I'm kind of limited funds like a lot of people these days, and I'm having to make some budgetary decisions I don't like. I know the Feline Patio Occupational Forces did not like the one that went down last night, but that one was made due to my knee. I couldn't wade through them to get to the normal bowls, so they got fed on the ground. And they looked at me in horror like, "Are you a savage?" And yes, cats will give you that look. One of the kittens actually was trying to be refused until he realized I wasn't going to sweep it up and put it into the bowls for him. And he was like, "Seriously?" Or she, I should say. I found out that both of the two younger ones are female. Finally got Umbre to take and lift tail, so I now know she's a girl, not a boy. Which is a good thing that I called her Umbre and not Ombre. All right, we are there. 3.45 million last year in 94. It is 30 years to go. We're going to pause for a moment and discuss where we're headed. Now, the problem is the Abros, the backbone of my passenger fleet, are being discontinued for the rail. So we're going to have to start thinking about that. The megahertz bus, that's one of the backbones of my stagecoach fleet, has been discontinued. I don't think my towns are big enough yet to take and deserve the current buses there. So it's going to be an interesting setup here, because those are also some of the last buses. And as they discontinue, you're stuck with the big longs or the little tinies, and those mid-range buses for those mid-range routes disappear. Pretty much like what's happened in America. We don't have those here anymore. It's sad. So the op prof's looking really, really good. The net wealth growth is still going, and it looks flat right now, but that's because this is the December to January, so it hasn't grown that much. Matter of fact, it's gone down temporarily with the influx of the monthly and all of our costs until we start making a profit for the month. Otherwise, we're looking good. Our road tolls are still one of my biggest worries. But as we can see, we've been doing more and more on our own roads, or less and less on our own roads, and more on the main roads as the government annexes our roads and takes them over. Our miles in town are beginning to cost up. So, how else can we do this? There are three ways, one of which I feel is kind of cheating. I prefer the 2 to 3 catchment capability, and that is one we're going to discuss quickly. Here, I'll go into greater detail in the tutorial, but it is an option for me to take and consider, and that is routing station coverage. You can increase it from the 2 out, and it is a number between 1 and 8. So you can go only 1 out and make it so that everybody's got to be covered with tiny little stations, so you're doing a lot of them. Or you can expand the routing and claim that, hey, new efficiencies, new belt systems that did it so that we can transfer goods further out and still have catchment within a certain distance of a further distance from the stations. The question I would pose to you this episode, please comment below, I'm not doing a separate poll for it, is, would you like to see me expand the catchment and be able to reduce the number of stations? That is a good option, and it would allow me to even further change it. However, and this is the thing, when I played Devil's Towers, the original, I never touched that. So it would no longer be a fair comparison. That's why I'm kind of against it, but if enough people say, yeah, you should increase that, and it should do that, and maybe it should be able to be done on a regular basis. I do think it should be a technologically driven thing. Maybe somewhere down the road I'll run a game where we say, hey, catchments can increase in these type of situations where, you know, we've reached a certain population level. Maybe it's a certain technology comes out. You know, maybe we say, hey, this year, this is when we know, you know, there was another phase in the Industrial Revolution that's still ongoing in the world. These are all issues that I'm willing to take some feedback on. So please, leave a comment. Give a video a like. Give it a share if you feel that you got friends who might, or are a member of a group that might like the game. I'm not monetized, so don't worry, I'm not doing it to increase my money. At least I'm not monetized yet. I have had a friend who said, do you think you should monetize? And he's questioned me, and he was like, you got the right answers for why not to. And he's like, yeah, and you're not heading to clouds, you're going to make money at it. No, I may not. It might become something that's not viable for me. All right, so now it's coming down to what can we do next to promote growth. Unfreeze. Unpause the game. We've done the thing here where we did the switcheroonie here so that we can pull things over. And I am seriously considering, because I had some choke points, and we've already taken care of one of them here, where we took it from 36 there down to 18 now. That took that down to 14 convoys each direction. That's the kind of things I'm looking for. That's when I go to, you know what, this is beginning to see back up. That's a good point to take and start thinking about either a complex junction like Peat Bog Barren Junction, or just double lining if it's a single junction point. And we can see that on the map. Let's take a peek here. Selections. Traffic. And we'll go ahead and close the traffic bar. I am going to turn on the color codes so you can see that purple's the lowest, red's the hottest. And we're going to zoom in a little bit and look around. Mallowfield's got a lot of congestion in it, but it is a bigger community. Brenton, because it's a strip community, same with Spring Cross and Rendon, having just 2 main drags each. Brenton only has the 1 main drag. Everything else is, side roads. Springmouth, the Y system is causing us issues. Ashstead, despite having been built right, has problems. Pallingby, Barcrux, because it's a strip town. These line cities, these are the ones that are going to cause issues. Now, another thing I need to start looking at is our industries, factories. Where all do these timber plantations I have yet to serve go to? Can we start tying those in? That's probably my next step in an episode down the road. Now, tomorrow I had planned on going to Max Chaos. We'll see, depending upon how things are going. I know a lot of folks like the Max Chaos more because that chaos is what you're kind of after. How crazy of a looking map I can take and be running. Max Chaos is in competition with Fixit. So I'm going to try to give Fixit 2 days. And then we will do 2 days on Sunday with 1 episode announcing the results of the poll of the tutorial. I am tempted to push the tutorial to a 9 p.m. Mountain Time, which would be 3 a.m. Greenwich time point for something else. And that train is not tucking all the way in. We need to consider a change at Fill and Chill. Fill and Chill needs a 5-long station, which would mean it would come in and hook in here. So it is time to start maybe right there, because he's not emptying that last car, and that's causing a production cutback each trip. Let's fix that. That's an easy, simple fix. And then once these guys are clear, I can blow this and have a new inset point for our connection. And this is technically an input only, so he should have been dark. There we go. Fill and Chill offloading halt has been reworked. Another thing I'm thinking about looking at here is this guy. He's running 22 convoys through that one thing. I can split it and have it do 11 by making this a full-on 4-diamond, which would then also allow us to do some other things as we go through. I had to finish the connection there. As you saw, I had the blocks on the tracks. Little things that we can now find to take an improved throughput. And this is the next major station issue. And I'm going to start laying it out in front of you, what I'm kind of envisioning, which is that we're going to shift this junction to here, make it a quadruple diamond, and start the process forward on making double line all the way up for our wonderful friends here who are running oil along that line up to Brent's Benzines and a few other items that are using that set of tracks. To begin with, they all slow down to do that big S curve, and that's something I really don't like about it. So, clearing it up, take out the old rail, back to here. He's now going to find a new routing, and we need to start doing some signals. And we're starting to look a lot better. This will also let us take out that signal and that stretch, reconnect them, put the signal closer in so we can fit 2 full trains now into that space. And hopefully this will improve our speeds and our delivery times. Little things, little things. These rails indicated where I thought the main rail was going to go until growth went a different direction. I was hoping there would be more growth of industry in this zone, but it sprawled out instead. Again, I keep peeking in finances. Why? Because we're under 30 years now. I think the actual stop point is like January 8th or 9th. I will be checking. I will be making a note that the game ends game year this, game date this, soon, and it will be posted. And during the time that we're running the tutorial, Expanding Worlds tutorial, I will have a poll up as to what sort of game you'd like to see in Simutrans to replace the 2 Devil's Towers games. I have stated that because it is so frustrating to do a max chaos, I kind of want to keep those as not a constant thing. They're fun, but it's more like it's a holiday week, we're going to do it type fun. Not hey, we're going to do this for every game we do. Now, I will accept challenges on that, but we'll sort of set based upon whatever sort of employment I do achieve eventually, how we're going to do it. Sorry, the walnut tree down the street has blossomed and cracked open its buds finally. I keep track of that guy because I'm miserable for the next week. Looking at our game, we're looking pretty good. Go to the monthly, see where the months are comparing. We're on the 19th. Let's do a speed run. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a speed run for about 2 months worth. And that's looking really good for what we did. Just those little changes are causing massive changes in our gaming flow. Now, our road tool is totally spiked at the moment because we're looking at road tool, not profit. Profits were back down under 200, so this was getting it back to where it belongs in the 2 to 3 range. Hopefully, what we've done fixes some of the issues. February being a short month by 2 days is going to be a problem. And 95 is not a leap year, so we don't get a 29th. Now, I do see an issue that can be dealt with next episode, which is places that are consistently crowded. As we're looking here in March, we've got a list, March of 95, all these that are crowded. We need to go into those stations next episode and figure things out. I'm Callie Jack. This has been How Not to Game with Callie Jack, episode 92 in the Devil's Towers Fixit 1969 game. Fixit being the keep it simple game, not the let's see how crazy our rail system can look game. Have a better day than I'm having.